Good morning. Good morning. It is 2:40 a.m. As usual, I'm on my way to the gym. A couple years I have not missed a day. I have not missed a day. I heard somebody say it. I don't even remember what I was listening to. I mean, I already knew it's a common fact, but it was reinforced, and I thought it was, I kind of laughed to myself. And they were like, anything you do, he was like, you can create any habit that you want. You can create a bad habit, one that does not do anything to build you. You can create a good habit, one that builds you up and creates something magnificent. But habits are created. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how I'm on a journey, and the journey is to rid myself of all things that make me weak. And to constantly purify myself. And not in the terms of perfectness, because yes, perfectness is not in the casual sense. Perfectness is not a necessarily true fact of life. But there's areas, there's areas of everybody's life where they want change. And I'm talking about that. I'm talking about in those areas where you want change. Not becoming fanatical, not so overwhelmingly making corrections that it throws everything else in your life off, but literally identifying things that weaken who you know you should be, who you know you could be, who you know you ought to be. Identifying those things and saying no more. And for me, let me give you an example. Fanatical for me is if I'm going to lose weight, if I'm going to let's just stick with lose weight. And I say forever and ever and ever and ever, all I'm going to eat chicken and rice and vegetables. And then I start being critical of other people who eat hamburgers and french fries sometimes. And then chicken and rice, and vegetables. But I become critical of those. I think that's a fanatical mentality, where not only do you think you're better than somebody, but you become critical of how they live their life and how they are eating and how they are intaking things. I think that's a fanatical mindset. And I think it's a fanatical mindset to say that all I'm gonna do is eat chicken and rice. But I think that becomes fanatical, where you say, I want the cake, but I ain't gonna have a piece of cake. And you deny yourself to a degree that life no longer even becomes fun. I think that's fanatical. I'm not talking about becoming fanatical. I'm saying identifying that when you sit down to eat a piece of cake, you eat the whole cake. I'm talking about making changes where you know that you're clearly making more errors than you should be. Your decisions in judgment are flawed. That's what I'm talking about. And how over time, yes, I've lost tremendous amount of weight. I am constantly putting my body into a state of metamorphosis. I mean, I ran 2 back-to-back half marathons, which means I ran 1 marathon. Never could I have thought that that was possible. I never thought it was possible to run a mile, let alone 13.1 back to back. But I don't mind having a cheeseburger every once in a while. I'm not so fanatical. I don't want to be fanatical. I don't want to be so over the top. True, that might give me different results, but I don't think that's necessary. I think you still have to have a quality of life. But what about truly identifying things that are hurting you? Cigarettes, excessive drinking. What about the things that are genuinely setting you back? Now, the one thing I am fanatical about is consistency. Because, see, I think that if you can be consistent, you can make more changes, and therefore you don't have to become fanatical. See, fanatical means that you're a control freak. You have to be in control of it, because if you're not in control of it, then you're out of control. So I've identified, and I'm slowly but surely identifying things that have me weak. See, I'm the person, I like sweets. So I'll get a box of donuts, and I won't want one donut. I want them all, because maybe the sprinkle one tastes a little bit better than the chocolate one. Maybe the glaze is a little bit more softer than the Long John, or maybe the maple bar is extra crispy today. I don't know. Maybe I just want it. It makes me weak. Some people, pornography makes you weak. Weed makes you weak. There's things that make you weak. And those are the things that I'm talking about, going through and doing a proper inventory of your life and saying, what's making me weak? And don't become fanatical about it. Become consistent and doing away with what's making you weak. So over time, you know, I was sitting down with my wife yesterday. We took the kids to McDonald's. They had a good day at school, and we had a little McDonald's app where, you know, because on there, I want to say on Wednesday, there's a buy one Happy Meal, get another one free. I'm all about saving that money, so, you know, it saved me $4. Give them some time to run around. But I'm sitting there with her, and I said, you know, it's been a long time since I had a soda. I didn't have one. I don't have any urge to have a soda. It scares me how much sugar's in there, the carbonation. I says, because my son came back and sat down, and he says, I mixed 2 sodas together. And I was sitting there thinking, I remember I used to mix sodas together. Weirdest thing in the world. But I'm not judgmental of anybody drinking soda. I'm judgmental if you drink a lot. I got something to say if you drink a lot, because I care about your health, and I know you're dumping a bunch of sugar on top of your in your body. You know, if you feel like you have to become fanatical to get that, you know, do what you gotta do. I'm just saying, you don't have to, but identifying what makes you weak. And I'll take this all back, and I'll kind of sum it up like this. I learned that if I pray when I find myself weak for something that that I need to abstain from, it helps me. You know, I could just be in the car and have an urge for one of those things that are on my hit list. I mean, my checklist. And I can just say, God, take this urge away. You know, that's not something that you do. It's not something that's easy to do. Because sometimes that urge just feels so good if you just give into it just that one time, and you just say, it's just this one time. It's just this one. I'm just going to give into this urge one time. I promise. That's it. And next thing you know, you ate the whole box. Next thing you know, you've been watching that pornography for an hour, then missed an appointment, then forgot to do everything that you said that you would do. Just nothing. Just nothing happened. Nothing took place. You just flat. So it's important that you're consistent with withdrawing from things that make you weak. And for me, what I found, because the things that I've withdrawn, sometimes I've had to withdraw 4 or 5 times. Sometimes I found myself weak and I had to start over again. It doesn't matter. You can start over. See, the beautiful thing about life is when you want to get something right, you're trying to correct it, you can always try again. If you mess up again, if I flip out on my wife, I can always say, you know what, I'm not going to do that no more. And I might do it again. I'm not going to tell her that, because then she might think I'm crazy. He keep telling me he ain't going to do that no more. But in my mind, I'm having a conversation saying, you know what, Jermaine, that wasn't right. Come on, man. You better than that. Stop that. Don't do that no more. She don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. The situation didn't deserve that. Come on, let's do something different. Let's start again. And there's been things where I've had to start again. Then there's been some things that I've just been consistently and said, you know, I'm good. When I gave up smoking cigarettes, I was just consistent. I said, I'm good. When I gave up smoking weed, I said, no, I'm good. You know, I might occasionally have a drink in a social setting, a glass of wine. But I no longer have an urge, because the urge always was surrounded by the way it made me feel. And the way it made me feel always gave me the flexibility and the freedom to be loose. Therefore, it wasn't the right reasons. But what's happening and what helps me now on the journey that I'm on now, and for the things that I'm shaking loose of now, it really is. It's prayer. It's on a daily basis. It's prayer. It's just to say, God, you know, I'm feeling weak right now in this area. Strengthen me. Testing the power of faith. Testing the power of prayer. And saying, man, I need this prayer to deliver me, because I'm having one of my weak moments. And you know what happens when you relapse into one of your weak moments? It's not just one piece of cake, it's the whole damn pie. It's not just glancing at pornography, it's breaking out the oils. It's a whole slew of things. It's a complete slew of things that go along with it. So if you already know what happens when you get weak and you don't want to start over, because starting over means you have to endure all the things that come with that weakness, then pray and see if it'll go away. I mean, literally, I mean anything. If you're trying to stop smoking cigarettes, and you know, I'm a firm believer that you have to have a game plan. All right, I'm gonna stop smoking cigarettes for 1 month straight. I'm gonna smoke 3 cigarettes a day, 4 cigarettes a day, half a pack. Every time I smoke 1 cigarette, I'll throw another one out. I'll give myself a budget of $15. I think $15 only buy you 1 pack of cigarettes. They're pretty expensive. And then every time that urge comes up, you say, hey, God, you gave me this idea. You gave me this thought to quit. You're telling me I need to do this. I need you to give me the strength to resist it and see where it takes you. You might have to do that every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, you might find yourself praying to God, like, God, I need your help. But if it's 5 minutes or every 5 seconds, you need to do yourself the hugest favor you can and do whatever you have to do to abstain from that weakness. And watch yourself be delivered from it. Even if it's just one weakness at a time. Life is 100% about the journey, never about the destination. Your destination is death. What you do while you're here on your journey is going to say a lot about where you end up at your death.